Good morning, everybody. Hello there. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Kelsey Jones. I am a project coordinator with the San Joaquin Valley Clean Energy Organization, or SJVCO for short. And I am joined today by Miriam and Alex from Southern California Edison. And today we're going to be discussing SCE's residential time of use transition that is coming up for our partners. So with all the changes happening across the state, whether that's protocols with COVID-19, wildfire mitigation, and everything in between, we want to make sure that you all have the most up-to-date information surrounding this transition. So we want to make sure you have access to the clear and concise information that will all surrounding the residential time of use transition. So before we hop in and get started, Alex and Miriam, do you have anything you guys want to add?
No, well, good morning, everyone. Just want to be first of all, thank you for your time to join us and get this information. We know that there's a lot of information out there, not just related to Edison, but with the impacts of COVID and sort of like what are options do I have? We hope that within the next few minutes we can answer some of those questions and be able to equip you with additional information just to help you get through this changing of our environment that we've all been experiencing for the past year. So I'll turn it over to my colleague Miriam if she wants to share anything.
Good morning. Glad to be here. Yeah, just looking forward to sharing some information with you on some upcoming changes to your rates.
All right, great. Thank you both. And with that, let's go ahead and hop right in. So let's just start off with the first kind of overview question. Why is SCE changing to this new rate system, and how is this going to impact the state of California and the energy demands across the state?
Sure. So really this is driven by a statewide initiative. You may be aware that California's electricity needs are changing. We now have a state goal of 100% clean power by 2045. And so that also means that our rates and how we pay for energy changes. So with time of use, it really encourages consumption during times when renewable energy is very plentiful. So during the daytime hours before 4 p.m. And then later in the afternoon and also in the evening when the demand goes up, but there's less solar power available, then prices are higher. So that means unless we adapt our rates to that, it makes it more costly to provide energy. And so with TOU, we're trying to encourage people to consume energy when it's cheaper and cleaner, really.
And some SCE customers may not know a lot about the time of use transition or TOU rates. Can you provide customers with kind of a high-level overview of what TOU rates are and how they work?
Yeah, so time of use is a variable price structure, and that means that with time of use, there are different prices for energy usage depending both on the time of day and then also the season, so winter or summer. And so traditionally, you may be more used to a price structure where the more you use, it gets more expensive. But with time of use, it's actually not just how much you use, but really when you use energy that matters. And that also means that you have more control because it's not your only way to save to reduce your overall usage. You can shift your usage. So for example, you use your large appliances outside of the peak time hours. And so, that would help you save on your bill. And for SCE, we have two main time of use rates. Our main rate that we also default customers to at turn on when they now call us today. That is the 4 to 9 p.m. TOU rate. And so that means that during the 4 to 9 p.m. period, the prices are the highest. We also have another option that is the 5 to 8 p.m. TOU rate. And so here prices are the highest between 5 to 8 p.m. So you have a shorter peak time period. But for that rate, the price difference between the peak time and the other time periods is a little bit larger. So you kind of have a trade-off there. And really, it all depends on what works best for your household. And then I also wanted to mention with time of use coming, it doesn't mean that our traditional tier prices go away. So you always have the choice to remain on your tiered rate or a turn on to choose that rate.
Okay, that's great to know because a lot of customers want to make sure that they have a choice, and that's always really important to the customer base. So specifically for our organization, we cover a pretty large region of the state of California, going from the San Joaquin Valley over to the high desert region. So I know that the timeline and the schedule is going to be different for everybody. So when will customers be notified of the transition in their specific region?
So for your specific region, those customers are going to transition to time of use in February of next year, so 2022. And then we have some newer accounts that are turned on later that will also go in March, but the majority are going to transition in February. So that's good to keep in mind. And we actually communicate abundantly with the customers about this. So you would, through that whole journey, you would get multiple communications, and that starts with 2 notices ahead of the transition. So we send both a letter, and then if we have your email, you'll also receive an email at the 90-day mark and roughly the 30-day mark before the month when you would be transitioning. So for a February rate change, that would mean you would start seeing a letter in the November timeframe, and then another one in the new year in early January. And then we also provide additional follow-up information after the rate migration to help you settle in on your new rate and get comfortable with how TOU works.
All right, great. That's excellent. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of times it's nice for people to get multiple notices because oftentimes things could get lost. So that's great to know.
Yeah, and let me add something here. So because we know that customers want choice, and some may feel that time of use is not right for them, so we want customers to be on the best rate for them. So in that process, we have multiple ways for the customers to let us know that they would prefer to stay on their current rate. The initial letter will include a business reply card, so customers can mail that back. We will also have a website that customers can go to opt out. It's very simple. All you need is your service account number and your street address number. That's all we require. So quite simple. You can click on the email and use that. And then, of course, you can always call us.
Right, exactly. Excellent. And then also, we want to get a little bit more into the program standpoint. A lot of the customers in our region are enrolled in income qualified programs or programs like CARE or Medical Baseline. How will the transition affect those groups or those communities, and what happens to those customers' rates?
Right. So yeah, actually, so for Medical Baseline, we are not enrolling those customers at all in TOU. If they wanted to choose time of use, they can opt in themselves, but they would not be part of this process of the rate migration. As to our income qualified discount programs like CARE and FARA, so that depends on whether the customer lives in a hot climate zone or not. So for CARE and FARA customers that live in hot climate zones, we actually also don't include them in the migration. Okay. That's based on some rules that the California Public Utility Commission gave us, who is eligible for the rate migration.
Okay. Then outside of time of use, what other rate options does SCE offer? And are there specific rate options that would particularly benefit customers in disadvantaged or rural communities in California?
Yeah, so, of course, our main rate options are TOU and tiered, and it's actually kind of difficult to answer that question categorically because it really depends on your usage. So we want customers to understand that SCE does not collect more money from customers that are on time of use, so this is not a rate increase. It really, for an individual customer, it depends on whether they can shift their energy usage outside of those peak hours, or they're already naturally by their schedule, they're not using as much during those hours. So what we always recommend is for customers to look at our rate plan comparison tool, and that actually gives you a comparison of our different rates and it uses your personal energy usage over the past 12 months. So that will actually tell you what your least cost rate is, and then you can also do your rate change right there. In terms of our disadvantaged communities, it still depends on your usage, what rate is best. And I think I'm going to just turn it over to Alex to talk a little bit about our offerings for income qualified customers.
Yeah, and I think this is a good segue into the next slide, right, Kelsey, which talks about what are the resources for COVID. So I'll merge the two. And so, what we want to first of all, just acknowledge is that we understand that just because we're seeing our, certain parts of the state opening up and, obviously hearing the mask mandate is going away, please know that from the Edison side, from the utility side, we know that the impacts of COVID are unfortunately going to be here for quite a few months. There are still individuals that are facing financial hardship and that they're going to continue to be in that situation for a certain amount of a period of time. So we just want, and the other part I want to highlight is that as most of you have probably heard, if not all of you, is, at the beginning of the pandemic, we put customer protections in place, which if individuals could not pay their bill, if they were having just challenges, you could reach out to us, Edison, and we can work out with you where at the end of the day, your electricity will still be available. So with that said, obviously those protections are coming to an end at the end of this month in June 30th. But, one of the common comments that I've heard or the perception is that come July 1st, the utility, whether it's electric, gas, or water, is going to be at your door saying, you got to pay or we're going to disconnect. Please, I just want you to know that's not the case. As I mentioned, we know that it's going to take a while for us to get back to what it used to be normal, and normal is going to look a little bit different. And we are committed to helping you as our customer and finding the right program. What I want to highlight is that there are programs that are going to be available to assist you once these customer protections end on June 30th. Based on your income, you may be eligible to help pay your energy bill usage, depending on what you're able to qualify for. There is an opportunity for you to pay your balance over time. I think one of them is you can qualify to pay your balance over a 12-month repayment plan. As well, we want you to take advantage of the different discounts that are available, which I will talk to in a bit. That's tied into the previous question. And then there's also programs that can help you with a one payment assistance, right? So what I want to highly encourage you, if there's anything that I really want you to take away from this portion that I'm sharing with you, is if you can please visit our website at sce.com/find support. If there is an in-language need, if you go to the upper right-hand corner, it allows you to select different languages, whether it's Spanish, Vietnamese, Chinese, Korean, or any of the other languages that our customers speak within our territory. We'll be able to assist you. We do have our phone number available, but as you can imagine, the demand on these calls is going to be pretty high. So obviously, we don't want you to be on the phone for 30, 45 minutes or however long it takes. Please look at the website as your first stop to get information. Now, in terms of programs available, right? These programs, I want to call out that they have been in place before COVID, and they will continue to be here after COVID. Obviously, we did change some of the guidelines that customers can qualify during the pandemic, but some of these programs are our CARE and our FARA program. These programs are for customers that are eligible based on income guidelines that can receive a discount of up to 30% on their monthly electric bill. Another program is our Energy Assistance Fund. This is a program that provides you a one-time payment assistance if you're having challenges paying your bill. And then another program which was touched a little bit in the previous conversation between Miriam and Kelsey is our program for customers that have medical equipment at home, which is our medical baseline program. And if you're an individual that has medical equipment at home that you need it, to sustain yourself, there is a program in place to put you on the correct rate. So that way, understanding that you're using more energy that somebody that it doesn't have this equipment all day running, we want to make sure that number one, you self-identify so that we know you're a customer that is using the equipment, but you can also take advantage of the benefits. And then the last thing that I want to say that's not so much related to income assistance or the impacts of COVID is please protect yourself from scammers. Unfortunately, we are at a time where there's a group of individuals that are taking advantage of the current situation to try to, take your identity, to take your information. One of the things I've shared in other webinars is my parents experienced that a few months ago is My mom got a call and they said, if you don't want your electric bill to not be disconnected, ironically, it was the electricity. Please give us your social and the last and your driver's license number, and we'll take care of it. We'll file a claim for you. Obviously, number one, my mom knew that it was not true because thankfully they've been able to cover their monthly bill. So she immediately hung up. And ironically, I showed up at their house probably later in the afternoon, and she told me about this. She was like, "Yeah, it just didn't sound right." I'm like, "Well, kudos, Mom. You did the right thing." And one of the best suggestions that I can give you, because I think sometimes I've seen it with my parents, is, you get a call and you're like, is it true or is it not true? And, obviously you want to make sure that if it's something you need to take care of, you take care of it immediately, right? My advice to you is, if you're not comfortable, just say, you know what, I can't speak right now. Give me your phone number where I can call you back. Give me a website. Give me your representative ID so that I can call you back. 9 out of 10 times they're going to hang up on you if it's a company that's just trying to steal your identity. And then, reach out to us. Reach out through Kelsey as part of the CBO partnership, and she will get that information to us, and we can validate it on our end. So please be careful. We do have resources available. We are going to share a one pager that has all this information, not just on the preventing of getting scammed from your identity, but on the programs available for you after the customer protections. And so we'll go ahead and get that out to Kelsey in the various languages, not just in English. But again, I just really want you to understand that we're here to help you out. We're here to answer your questions, and any concerns that you may have or any ideas of how you feel that we should better communicate with you, please funnel them through Casey so that we can get them out to you. And last but not least, I just want to give kudos to Kelsey and the team over at San Joaquin Valley organization. This partnership I think it started with this specific program a little bit over 2 years ago, and it has evolved into a really strong relationship. Kelsey is a big advocate of you as a community. She brings up amazing input on how we can improve our communication, as well as concerns on things that we may need to improve on, right? So kudos to you and the team, Kelsey. And again, I just really want to thank you for this opportunity to speak to your community. And as you know, the door's open for potential either Facebook Live events or anything that we can do, especially if there's an in-language need, Spanish or in the API languages. That was pretty much it. So Kelsey, I'll turn it back over to you.
Right. Well, thank you both so much for highlighting all the important work that Edison is doing with time of use rates and then also with customer care programs as well. Our communities are very appreciative of the work and the service that you all are doing, and we are looking forward to kind of seeing how this transition rolls out, and this is all the success it's going to have in our region. So thank you all thank you, Alex and Miriam, and thank you all for joining us today. If you have any other questions, as Alex mentioned, please do not hesitate to reach out to us and visit Edison's website at se.com/rates for more information on the time of use transition. And we are looking forward to this venture. So thank you all again so much.